Hi, and welcome to my 2007 Fleetwood Niagara pop-up trailer. We're going to be selling it here in a couple days. The reason being is we bought some land out in Central Oregon and we're just needing something a little more substantial. But for someone who is trying to downsize or maybe even join this RV lifestyle for camping or whatever, this is just a great little unit. I wanted to start out by showing it to you how it's stored with this custom cover that I had made, and I'm going to flip the phone around and walk around and show you some of the details of this cover before we get inside. All right, here we go. So this is a custom cover that was made up in Longview. The reason it's custom is because it has what I call a rocket box, but it's a Thule passport that comes with the unit, and I needed some room for that. It's heavy duty. I mean, it's really heavy duty. Everything you see here, all these extra stitchings, these are gussets for anywhere where there's maybe a sharp edge or something that might tear. When you look around and you see some of these things stored, you'll see the covers in tatters. This is going to last the lifetime of the unit, guaranteed. Very, very expensive unit. It has a ratchet strap down here at the bottom, and you cinch it up underneath, and it's not going anywhere. That being said, the unit was stored inside for a majority of its life. It was out in Central Oregon this summer. That's why we had the cover made. And like I said, it just keeps it nice, clean, fresh smelling. There's none of that weird RV smell. There's no water issues. It's just a really great investment for this unit. I'll go ahead and pause, set up the trailer. We'll get inside and take a look and see all the cool things that make this a pretty special trailer. Back here, and what I wanted to show you before we get too far into it is the passport by Thule that lives up here. We've got a barbecue in there, the hoses, filters, step stool, pretty much anything you want. It's nice to have that extra storage. What I wanted to show you is what's called a flipped axle. So when this thing came from the factory, it was pretty much a lowrider, meaning that it rode really low to the ground, and I mean really low. So here's your black water and your gray water, and as you notice, this valve here is a little newer looking than the other one, and that is because it rode so low that I scraped it up against a curb and had to replace that valve, which, as you can imagine, is not one of the more pleasant jobs. So the fix for that was to get an axle flip kit, and real simply, you just literally flip the axle. It has some different mounting brackets, and it raises the whole unit up about 6 to 7 inches. That really pays off in terms of ground clearance, and also when you set this up to drain, you actually have some elevation. It was so low to the ground that we were having trouble draining the contents out because there wasn't any fall. Well, now when you hook a hose up, you've actually got about 1.5 feet to fall, so it flows a lot better. Along with that, I had to add the stabilizers. These are aftermarket. I welded them in, and they are very, very nice. Super easy, almost like landing gear. And this obviously will come with the adapter, the bit. But with a cordless drill, it is just super easy. These are rated, I think, 7,000 pounds a piece, so they're way overrated. This unit has a max vehicle weight of about 3,500 pounds. So you can tow it with a Subaru Outback or anything in that range, a Jeep. It's very light. We've towed it with an Audi. It's being towed right now by a truck, but very easy to tow with almost any SUV. And when you do this, we're done. It is now stabilized. I'm going to go ahead and raise it up, pop everything out, and we'll be back. And before we do that, I wanted to show you some of the upgrades. Along with the extra stabilizer jacks, or the new stabilizer jacks, I have a new hand cranked jack here on the front because the other one was too short. So we're on a pretty good slope here. That's why it's down so low, just to make it level. I've also upgraded the batteries. We have two 12-volt batteries and then two LP tanks as well. So that'll last you for cooking and heating a good, I mean, in the summer, you can go a whole summer not change those tanks out. Batteries will last a weekend. We do carry a generator, but those batteries, as you'll see, I've got some pretty neat electrical things inside that run off the batteries. So that was the reason for the upgrade. Okay, we're back, and it is all set up on the outside except for the awning, and I'm not going to do that. That's pretty straightforward. You unfurl it, there's a couple poles that you plant, and that's that. You can see it's a pretty big unit. I want to say from one end to the other all set up, it's almost 29 feet long. So you have two king beds on either side, and then you have this pop out here, which is where the dinette is, and that folds into a single-ish, double-ish bed. So you can sleep 5 very comfortably, and I suppose if you had some small kids, you could sleep a lot more than that. But as you can see, it's a pretty sharp-looking unit. You're not going to find pretty much anywhere a camper with 2 kings. Now, we don't have it set up yet. I'm going to do that a little later and show you what it looks like all set up with the pillows. But as you can see, it truly is a tent. I mean, I've got everything open, but there's nothing like sleeping under the stars, and you really are. Except that you have a bathroom, a microwave, a stove, an oven, a sink, a heater, stereo. So you've got a lot of the amenities that make it nice. You don't necessarily have to be on the ground. And like I said, you can tow this with, you know, pretty much anything, Honda Pilot, 4Runner, you know, any of that stuff, no problem. And that's what's nice, and it's easy to maneuver. It's a single axle, so it gets into wherever you need to go. Because of the axle lift, we bought this little stool that just adds a second step. Pretty cool, and it just folds up and slides in when everything is put away. And one thing, it is pretty chilly today, and so with a pop-up you get the plastic windows or these vinyl windows, and as you can see, it's a little wrinkly, and when the sun hits it, it just relaxes and it's fine. Another nice thing about this versus some of the others is you truly have canvas on the sides here. You do have a vinyl top, but you do have the canvas. It just adds a nice look, and I think it's a little higher quality than pure vinyl. And I mean, we've used this for, I think this is our 5th year, and you know, you hear all the horror stories about how campers are just nothing but a nightmare. This one has been really good. We haven't had really anything go wrong with it. I've done some modifications that I've shown you, and it just kind of chugs right along, no problem. We use it probably 4 or 5 times a year. This last summer, like I said, when we bought some property, it stayed out there, so we used it a little bit more. But I mean, it's in really good shape. You know, a couple of the things that's starting to show its age, and that's just part of buying a used anything, is a little bit of this right here, but nothing is torn. This is probably the most problematic area, and what it is people don't understand how to put this away, and it gets pinched and a little torn. But again, it just kind of folds up in there. It's not really a big deal. Clearly, whoever buys this, I will go through and give them a tutorial on how to put this together and how to take it down without doing that, without hurting the unit. So anyway, I'll set the inside up a little bit more, show you a couple more of the really cool things and some of the storage and whatnot, And that should be that. Thank you. All right, welcome back. We're inside the camper. We got the beds made up just to give you an idea of what this looks like. Again, full king size bed. We use foam toppers, and that works amazing. Not necessary, but really helps with the comfort. This is the head all put together. There's a light right down here. I just turned it on. And you can see it's what we call a wet head, which means that you have the bathroom, or I should say the toilet here, and it's a regular toilet with an electric pump. You just hit the button there and it opens a valve, and then when you're done you let go and it refills just like a normal toilet. You have a shower head up there, and then your hot and cold right here. It does have a hot water heater right down here, along with a new converter, which when you're plugged into 110 volts, that converts energy over to 12 volts, so it charges the batteries while you're plugged in. And then we have 110 volt there, 110 volt there. We have an inverter, 110, and then we also have another one here for the kitchen. We have a three-way refrigerator. It actually works really nice. There's a little mod here with a fan, like a computer fan that you plug in. That was one of the forums talked about that, and that really helps with the keeping the distributing the coolness, I guess, of the fridge to all the shelves. And again, you have gas, 120 volt, and then 12 volt, and it works really good. Even has an oven. Again, this is a pop-up with an oven. You can see down there I've got it cracked, but it's a piece of travertine, and what that does is help kind of distribute the heat a little bit, so you don't get a hot spot like when you cook a pizza or something. You don't get an area that's burnt and then the rest is doughy, so it kind of helps that, and it actually works really good. We've done pizza and chocolate chip cookies, things like that. This just closes like this, and then you have more workspace here. 2-basin sink, and again, its own water pump. It has a black water tank that's about 11 gallons, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And then you have a gray water, which I think is 25 gallons, and fresh water, which is 25 gallons, which is more than enough for just, like I said, a weekend. You have storage pretty much everywhere. Under here you have storage, a couple drawers, more storage here. We pretty much fill it up, all kinds of goodies in here. And then this, more storage underneath these. And this is what I was talking about. This table here will collapse down, and you can rearrange these cushions and make this into a bed. And it works real good for kids. I think that's about it. The other thing I wanted to show you is the ceiling here. And why this is important is because you don't see any water stains anywhere on the ceiling. None. Zero. This camper is perfectly dry. It smells good. There's really nothing mechanically wrong with it. Nothing at all, actually. Nothing that needs fixing. I've converted all the lights to LED. That helps if you're dry camping and you don't have to worry about plugging in. These will go for days and not appreciably drain the battery. So I think that's about it. My contact information will be in the link down below. So give me a ring if you're interested. Love to show it to you. And I hope that whoever buys this has as much fun with it as we did. Thanks again for looking.